Hi, everyone. So today we are talking about the next week's lesson, which has to do with the fourth week of Advent. And we just obviously just had our third. So you see my little candles in the background. We lit the pink one this week. But this coming Sunday, the gospel is about really Joseph is the main player. And so even before I get into that, we did the opening prayer as usual. And what I had them do this week, now they're older, but they have these really cool Bibles that they have, children's Bibles. So I had them read the passage out of the Bible first before we even got into the lesson, because they're old enough. And any kind of, I'll call it exercise of using the Bible is good. So, they're really at a place where they're very, very comfortable with it. They have no problem looking it up, and they have a color-coded tabs. You talk about Isaiah. Oh, we know he's the first green one because he's the first, blah, blah, blah. So, they're really, I want them to feel that comfortable with the Bible. And especially because this program is based on it being lectionary based. So what I had them do was read it, and they liked that first. So then when we got into the lesson itself, they were already familiar with the story. It wasn't like, oh, wow, all of a sudden. And we did the lesson as it is. They each participated in their part. And then I played a video on from YouTube that showed that particular gospel passage with characters, and so they could see it and kind of reabsorb it. So that was good. The other thing I did with them yesterday, because if you go to the beginning of that chapter of Matthew's gospel, this coming gospel is from 18 to 24 in chapter 1. If you go to the very first part of the passage of Matthew, you see the lineage of Jesus, his ancestry. And I showed them that. I said, this is where Jesus, this is his family. But here it comes. And we have that too. And we were talking about ancestry.com. I said, I think that's why it's so popular, because everybody wants to know where they came from. That's an important thing. So Jesus also knows where he came from, because we have it written here in Matthew's gospel. I also had them do a little bit of reading on Matthew's gospel itself and what is it about. And because this is the beginning of Matthew's gospel. And also, not only that, but about the New Testament. It's the very first book in the New Testament. So this is the dividing line between Malachi and Matthew. And this is it's like the continental divide, right? So they were then switching over to be able to see, in the New Testament, this is Matthew the first. But I said to them, but did Matthew write the first? Was he the first to write the Gospels? No, Grandma, it was Mark. So they know that. So I don't know why they put Matthew first. I should do some research on it, since Mark is really the basis of the Synoptic Gospels. So, but anyway, that worked out well, and they were kind of surprised to see that. And so we talked about it, and again, who pops out of this great, the activities we did and all that, but who pops up is Joseph. And in this gospel, was reading it, and I really, not that I've taken Joseph for granted. I wouldn't say that, because I know he had a very important role in salvation history. But I never really maybe appreciated him. I just, for some reason, this time when I was preparing for this, it kind of jumped up at me. And I thought, what a great person he had to be. And when we discussed Joseph from the gospel, I was talking to the two of them, and I said, he's such a great, great person. And I said to Justin, this is the kind of father you really should be. And I said to Sage, this is the kind of guy you want to marry, someone who's faithful, who's, honorable, who will care for you, no matter what. And all because he didn't want Mary to be embarrassed, or he didn't want Mary to be, upset. He wanted to take care of her, and he was willing to divorce her. And then going through that whole piece about divorce, how could he divorce her if he's not even married to her? So in explaining in the Jewish heritage and the Jewish tradition, betrothal is probably almost even, according to the law, is more important even than the marriage, because once you're betrothed, that's when you become the property. That's when you have entitlements, because you are married. Not that there were many for the women in those days, but it puts you into another societal kind of, place. So try to explain that one to that one. And then we had this discussion on Mary, being so young and being pregnant. And for Joseph to understand that this is from the Holy Spirit, he had to be a wonderful person. And even in the younger groups, the younger ages, this week's coming gospel, they treat Joseph as well and bring him into the picture, how important he was. And I just like that idea, and I think it's someone to really reflect on and to think about, and to just have do a reflection on Joseph, because I think he was just a very special, obviously a very special person. So we did all of that, and then we did, as I said, we connected the gospel to the doctrine, read what's in the little booklet there, the handbook, to help them understand those pieces of that Jesus was God and human. And there was a question that came up: what makes you think from reading in the Gospels that Jesus was human? And of course, they talked about he ate, he got angry, he had feelings, he had emotions. But how would you know he was the God? Where did that come in with God? Well, the miracles, and so that they were really onto it. So I have to say they were very antsy yesterday, and I think it's because right before Christmas they're all hyped up, and I understand that. So again, they were trying to bring them into being focused had its challenges yesterday. Although they were, but they're just antsy. It's Christmas. It's coming. Any teacher in school will tell you that as well. So Sage had picked out a beautiful rendition of O Come, Emmanuel, and we had that. It was really, really cool. She did a really nice job. And it's so funny. I just want to share this, that the day before was Sunday, and when they were at Mass, the priest was asking questions during the homily, like, who is John the Baptist? Why do you think he was in jail? And who were his parents? And they kept going. My daughter, bless it, was almost like embarrassing. It's like the only two who knew what was, but that gives me great pleasure. And it's not just that they know it, but they know it. And the fact that they remember John the Baptist from last year, even, this is the cyclical part about it, that you're repeating and you're repeating. So it's wonderful. And you're seeing it in different ways as the time goes on. So that was good. So for next week, they are going to do, well, we actually have 2 lessons combined for next week, because we're not going to be meeting during the holiday, during when there's no school. So we have Christmas and we have the Solemnity of Mary on January 1st, pulling those 2 together. So they're going to divide them up. They're going to teach me the lesson. I said, it's your turn. And they did it last year. And I said, the Christmas story, it. So Sage is going to do the Christmas gospel and a lesson on that. And Justin's going to do the Solemnity of Mary. He's going to do the teaching on that. So they're all, that they stopped futzing around. They stopped, getting edgy. So that was a good thing. So we'll see what happens. I have every bit of faith in them, and they're getting ready. And they were sharing yesterday with me, Christmas and the traditions that we have, and and that I believe that came up in one of the questions of the lesson, and they listed them, and it was really nice to see that this is part of their thinking, that they're realizing the importance of that and how important that might be. So that was this week. Getting ready for this coming Sunday, for the fourth Sunday of Advent. I mean, I can't believe Christmas is right around the corner, but it is, and trying to keep focused on the true meaning of it, and trying to get that message across to the children. And I know they get it. They're still into their toys, obviously, but they get it. So that was it for this week. So I wish you a great week. Happy preparing for Christmas, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.